Hello and welcome to Fantastic Daily, What is Going On? When I made my video a while ago about debunking popular YouTubers' ghost activity, for the most part the response from you, my viewers, was quite positive. With that came multiple requests asking me to debunk a fellow paranormal YouTuber who I personally hadn't heard of before, known as Fantastic Daily. I put the request on my long list of ideas, but recently a friend of mine from YouTube had inadvertently alerted me to the channel. I randomly was checking up on his activity and noticed quite a few posts related to Fantastic Daily, so that led me to this week's video. This won't be so much of a debunking, but more of a video showing another perspective, all the while staying within the mind of a paranormal channel. Basically, when it comes to videos of this type, there are typically three viewpoints. The believer, who is one who takes everything at face value without question, the skeptic, who evaluates all the evidence and chooses the most feasible route, and the closed mind, who no matter what, will never acknowledge anything that goes against their current views. Much like the site Doubtful News. With my video, I'm taking the middle road on this, and while I'm not debunking it per se, I feel this topic allows us an opportunity to talk about various entries in the paranormal world. Before I start into this, I want to add that I've noticed that when I make debunking style videos, a lot of people assume I don't believe in ghosts, which many of you know to be a false statement. I personally believe very strongly in ghosts and spirits, as I have encountered a few in my life, but that doesn't mean you have to. It is all subjective and up to your own personal opinion. So let us delve into this mystery. Fantastic Daily started his channel on August 22nd of 2016, and to date has posted 85 videos on the topic of paranormal things. Even though he has barely been on YouTube a year, he has amassed an impressive 17,000 subs, which is soon approaching the 18,000 mark. His first 5 videos were a hodgepodge of topics ranging from the clown craze, strange deep-sea creatures, to the broad topic of black-eyed children. After those 5, he sort of had a mixed topic, much like myself, but it quickly began following a pattern of one singular subject, and that is of black-eyed kids. On March 22nd of this year, 2017, the rest of his 77 videos were all focused only on the black-eyed kids, as well as his home recordings reportedly showing the same activity. Honestly, this is worrisome to me a bit, as it shows either he actually is being attacked, or that he has garnered an unhealthy obsession with one dangerous topic. So at this moment, I want to recap for those of you who are unaware of what exactly a black-eyed child is. I made a video about this topic about 2 years ago, and will add a link to it in the description. Basically, there is some form of unknown entity that takes the form of a child or teenager that has completely black eyes and are normally always dressed in black. The encounters are fairly uniform in description, where an intended victim is approached by one or two of them, either while someone is in their home or even in some cases their car. All reports state that the victim suddenly gets this feeling of dread and danger when around the kids. These children then have some story as to needing a ride somewhere or have a purpose to enter one's home. The big caveat here is that they can't seem to enter the house or car unless they are specifically invited in. This is where the story enters speculation, since it is said that if you allow them to enter, they'll do something horrific to you, inevitably resulting in the victim's disappearance. The reported encounters are obviously from people who have turned them away, so no one really knows what occurs to those who don't. If these stories are true, it is quite eerie, but if they aren't, then I feel bad for all the kids who are honestly trying to get help and are turned away for fear of a possible urban legend. Either way, these experiences follow the same textbook path, and one which doesn't fit Fantastic Daily's representation. The first video I want to show you was posted on June 25th, 2017, and he insists it shows an attack as well as a black-eyed kid activity on his property. He has multiple clips showing physical scratches on himself, as well as others of his community showing the same on their back. Here is the problem. As stated, the black-eyed kids follow a set pattern, and aren't known to go invisible to lurk around, nor are they prone to doing things such as scratching a victim, but something else will, which I'll get to later on. The gate opening by itself is interesting, but again, if it was a black-eyed kid, they would be standing there doing it, not hiding in the ethereal plane. I won't focus too much on the validity of the gate being paranormal, since it could be, yet it could also be a staged hoax. I'll point out that his after video, making quotation marks here, could quite honestly be the before video, where he set up the gate latch to fail. The clip is edited to appear after the event, but we never see him coming out to check or reclose the gate. What we see is the gate opens, and then it is jump edited to show him there with the gate already closed and acting like he is checking it out. With that jump cut, it easily could have come before the gate opening and then edited in to appear after the event. Also, why does he obviously unlatch the gate and then quickly walk away? Seems sketchy to me, but without seeing the unedited video file myself, I can't rule either way. Now, another topic that Fantastic Daily tends to sensationalize is that he caught images of his wife apparently sleepwalking on his front porch, as well as ones of his neighbor doing the same in his yard. He makes this evidence as if it were paranormal, or even related to the black-eyed kids, again. He mentions that his wife never sleepwalks and that she has no recollection of doing it either. While I understand the concern over his wife, the answers are fairly obvious. I looked up the condition, and straight from allsleep.com/sleeping orders, it states pretty clearly what may be causing this. His wife wasn't known for sleepwalking, but she is very pregnant in the photo, which fits the very first reason behind the disorder. The second reason is chaotic sleep, which after watching a good number of his videos and seeing his wife partaking in a lot of them, on top of being pregnant, she fits that category as well. I highlighted multiple personalities for a reason that I'll get to later. I don't see any reason to perceive this as anything paranormal, but I could be wrong. Now, I won't go into his multitude of videos showing strange blurs on camera, as they easily could be bugs. This, as well as he had some equipment stolen which he claims shows a black-eyed girl, but I think the perspective of the shot leads to any conclusion you would want to make. I do want to point out that he isn't averse to using clickbait style titles to drive views, such as this one here. The whole video is 4 minutes and 56 seconds long, and all it shows is him walking around with his video recorder and a flashlight walking along his property. At one point his wife tells him that the front porch floodlight came on, and he runs around the house, falls, and then comes back to the video saying he didn't see anything. His wife says she heard a knock on the door while he was away, and that's why he was out checking his property. As for the photo that is promised, this is it. One would assume he caught something strange, but in fact it was of nothing, and he is mystified as to why it took the photo. As a person who has lived near forest his whole life and dealt with trail cams, I can tell you just about anything natural could have set it off. A strong breeze, a bug, a small animal, anything really. I do find it odd that the trail cam on the front of his house, which he says should have caught the person knocking, conveniently wasn't working, which he says was due to his error in setting it up. Not impossible to happen, but very suspicious. During his video series, he documents that the activity is so strong in the house that at one point it supposedly forces his wife and son out, but yet he stays. I won't go into some of the family's troubles, as even though he made it public, I respect their privacy. However, at one point he shows this image that he caught on his camera and admits it to be his wife. The only issue is that he states that at the time the photo was taken, both of them were at the hospital as she was giving birth. So basically this image is of her, but not her, according to him. Within that same entry, he shows a video clip of damage done inside a house that he states was mostly in the kitchen. Later we see a shocking video of an entity walking into his bedroom while he is home alone. Let me address the big thing about this video. Obviously the being is female, and from what I can tell she is nude. While this video looks crazy foolproof, I can't help but wonder, if all the lights are out in the bedroom, why doesn't the being come further into the room? Granted, spirits don't react like we would want them to, but he states he felt it was looking for him, so why wouldn't it actually look for him? I honestly believe that since he had previously shown that his wife frequently walks around the house in various forms of undress, that this may be her as well. You may say, but he says she moved out. Yes, he says that, but do we know that it is factual? Another thing that bothers me is that in the first images, without going into too much detail for my younger viewers, It is blatantly obvious that this being is completely nude. He doesn't blur this, even for fear of an age restriction being placed on the video. Yet when he lightens it, it suddenly looks blurry, which in all honesty, it should have made things very crystal clear. I immediately thought it was due to the age rating scare, but the blur doesn't look like it was intended to appear edited in, but rather viewed as camera pixelation. Now, one of the biggest events that originally started this look into Fantastic Daily was the fact that apparently people were reporting being affected by just watching the videos, either health-wise or other issues. From what I understand, there were apparently 900 people claiming to have various things happen to them. Granted, randomly messing with the paranormal world can cause issues if you aren't careful. This may be the case here, but I'm assuming something else entirely is occurring outside of a cursed ring video idea. I think the placebo effect is a true culprit. One person mentions having a bad headache after watching it, and then another latches on saying, "Yeah, I realized this happened to me afterwards," and then another latches on to that. I watched 60% of his videos, and while I did get a headache, it wasn't anything outside of sinus pressure. While making this video, I've rewatched most of his videos and feel perfectly fine. With that said, I do know that dealing with the spirit world, even innocently, can lead to problems. My wife and I no longer go on ghost hunts, since the more we delved into it, the more activity we seemed to have occur around the house. Was it all actual paranormal, or was it just we were in that mindset that immediately went to paranormal? I can't be sure, but that very phrase proves my point. You may be saying, if you can't prove or disprove Fantastic Daily, then what is going on? First off, I am almost 100% certain that black-eyed kids are not the culprit. Those beings, whatever they are quite direct and don't fall into the invisible ghost pranks. Yes, he has caught people around his house dressed in black, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they are paranormal. When sneaking onto someone's property, you wouldn't wear neon-colored clothes. He dabbled in the idea that the image of his wife, while she was away, was a doppelganger. While the idea fits, the activity doesn't. For the most part, doppelgangers are normally indicative of a bad omen, but they don't sneak around either. Their entire goal is to take the image of their intended victim and then kill them, which allows the doppelganger to interact with your friends and loved ones to steal their life energy, all under the persona of looking like you. This image is not showing that activity. Ruling out any hoaxes, if the evidence is in fact real, it only leads to three possible answers. Being all images caught are female and normally topless or nude, it leads me to think it could be a succubus. However, I am apprehensive about that idea. A succubus would attach to him and want to drive his wife out, but they normally don't take a physical form that can be caught on camera. For the most part, they are found in a dream state, and their only interest is in taking life energy via sexual encounters, not walking about your house opening gates. Although the history of succubi appears to have started via a way to explain hidden infidelity during the 14th century up to more recent times. This could, in fact, be a female ghost that has grown attached to him and would produce all the activity that he is documenting. If you watch my personal paranormal videos, you know I have encountered a clingy female ghost before that wanted my wife out of the picture. Something in my gut says that that isn't the best solution though. I think, again, if the videos are legit, that what he may be showcasing is a poltergeist. At one time, a poltergeist was seen as an evil entity that caused havoc in the house for various reasons. However, as of late, it has been concluded that a poltergeist isn't an entity, but rather a form of mental telekinesis originating from someone in the household without them being aware of it. I think his wife is inadvertently causing the activity due to stress of her husband's YouTube channel, being in a house that is far away from friends and family, being pregnant with twins, as well as having complications with the birth. I think everything fits perfectly, especially when you factor in that most of the knocks on the door heard are when she's home alone. The ghost images captured appear to be her, and the kitchen was wrecked while she was having issues in a hospital during a hard birth. Things will continue to happen in the house due to her leaving it, but still stressed out over her husband still being there, as well as recounting all the activity that has happened. I know many of you wanted me to take this YouTuber down with a debunking, but I can't do so in good conscience. I feel a lot of his videos are hoaxed, but some things are harder to explain. Then again, I feel he has delved into a world, even if it was a hoax, that is slowly encompassing his mentality, to which it is showing itself in strange things he's seeing, which aren't strange at all. So at this point, I feel he is either a good showman who isn't good at covering plot holes, or he has some of the best documented activity on the internet. While watching his stuff and picking apart the irregularities, I couldn't help but think of my Evidence What Does It Take video. I personally have 2 videos on my channel that show what I caught on a trail cam in my house, and they're 100% legit. However, I could see someone looking at them and thinking it was all staged. At this point, you never know when to take things for face value and when to write it off as just bunk. So I leave it to you. What do you think about this topic, and did I miss something, or am I totally off the mark here? I didn't make this video to attack Fantastic Daily in the least bit, and if he wants to talk about my points, or what his side of the story is, I'm more than willing to openly hear his side. I do want to thank Tirandaz Arampur, one of my viewers, for starting the idea for this topic, so thank you so much for all of this. If you haven't yet, please consider subscribing to my channel for content related to topics involving paranormal, aliens, and cryptids. Also, if you would, give this video a like as it really helps me out and allows this channel to grow more. With that, be safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Later!